there's a coup happened there, and more than 1,000 civilians have been killed, and that is not just then that is not even a good thing to be heard. And that is not the first case that thing ever happened. Before that, they also have been religious opposed on the origin of Christ on the Rohingya, and also many violence has happened there. And we think that the action should abandon the non-interference policy because that we think that the action should be concerned of these human rights and the policies and the violence that happened in the member state country, and this is very concerned because this is about human rights. And the issue in Myanmar, even if it is a local or national issue, the other Asian countries should also recognize the concerns of the other member state, because this is about human rights, about violation on the minority, and the Rohingya right now have become refugees for a long time, and some of them have been killed, and some of them have go to the Bangladesh, which is the one of the places that most of the refugees go. And the Rohingya refugee crisis is caused by Rohingya people having a long face violence and discrimination in Myanmar. This is what happened there. And the about non-interference policy, the basic action approach because the members, the member state sometimes the members retain their shared understanding that domestic issues should manage domestically. It is no, they think this stuff is not supposed to be intervened by the other country. So that's that's how we define it. And my first argument, I would like to say that we, the action members, staff members, should protect the members both financially and politically. And in action bloc, there are lots of law in that is like the more members rather than other countries, because for the use of this action itself is about to less tax rate, to give a bigger quota on export and import. And Myanmar exports Myanmar export oil and gas to the Asian, so they play a big role in this Asian country. However, without solving this problem, which is this human rights problem, it will impact all the members also. Because it is regarding human rights, once again I say human rights and the religious oppressed. Okay, and it is also have been argued that these non-interference policies, these non-interference policies was prioritized over democracy and human rights. So we think that it is not this is not supposed to be the thing that we should do, and we should abandon this non-interference policy, and all of the member states should intervene in the crisis in Myanmar. And then my second speaker will talk more about these human rights and the religious oppressed, the opposed, and our third speaker will rebut and the negative team and some of our team case. Okay, and then I think that we as the managing country and also one of the members, Asian members should cooperate as the courts together we stand with these human rights and fight for the right. Okay. And that is, okay, I suppose that's it for me. That's my time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to the Prime Minister for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 10 seconds.
Now, I would like to call upon Leader of Opposition to deliver her speech. The floor is yours.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is this House believes that Asia should not abandon the non-interference policy and actively intervene in Myanmar. We agree with the definition given by the affirmative team. However, we, the negative team, believe that this statement is false. Today, as per speaker, I will be talking to you about the benefits for Malaysia in diplomatic relationship with Myanmar if Malaysia obey the policy and don't intervene. Our second speaker will be talking about the unavoidable consequences that Malaysia will face if abandon the policy. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. The first speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that Asians should be concerned about other countries because of their human rights. Yes, we should be concerned, but we should not be busy to disturb other country issue because the people in the country should handle the problem that happen in their country. Besides, in this world, there are lots of activists that want to help people around the world. So this kind of issue should not be intervened. Okay. He also said that we should intervene because we want to help the minority, which is Rohingya refugees who face discrimination in Myanmar. Okay. We think that we should not intervene with this issue because the country Myanmar itself should manage the refugees problem. And the people in Myanmar who face the problem of discrimination should unite together to make the country hear their voice against discrimination and other more. I will be discussing about advantages for Malaysian on the side of diplomatic relationship if Malaysian obey the policy and don't intervene in Myanmar. My first point is conflicts can be avoided between Malaysia and Myanmar. This is because when we intervene the country, the hatred of the country towards our country will be bad. As a result, when we face difficulty, it is hard to gain help from Myanmar and also other country because of our attitude towards other country issue. And when we intervene in other country issue, other country other than Myanmar will create a bad assumption towards Malaysia and they will not willing to give help to us when we in difficulty. Okay. Now to my second point. We should let people who know better about the issue to handle. And of course, the ones who know better must be in the country itself. The reason for this is the country may create its assumption towards our country and this may lead to worse situation. How much do you guarantee then that the nation will not take the blame towards our country if Myanmar face more problem. Even our former Prime Minister states that a country should face its internet issue by themselves and other countries should not interfere with their issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the leader of the opposition for the speech. The speaker spoke for 4 minutes and 36 seconds.
Now, I would like to call upon Deputy Prime Minister to deliver her speech. I start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to Madam Chairman, educator, timekeeper, and members of the floor. So today, the topic for our debate is that this House believes that ASEAN should abandon the non-interference policy and actively intervene in Myanmar. So we from the government side believe that this statement is truly, we agree with this statement. So I want to rebut some of the point from the opposition side. Okay, firstly, she said that in her point, she said that the advantage of Malaysian if they obey the policy, the non-interference policy. Okay, so she said that we won't face difficulty. For me, I think this is wrong. We won't face difficulty, and when we intervene the problem, the Myanmar will give the bad assumption. So this is wrong because the bad assumption from other country because this is including all the ASEAN. So ASEAN have many countries like Malaysia, Singapore. So it won't bother Malaysia, and the human right will always be prioritized. As our standard, we as ASEAN members should cooperate as the courts together we stand. Okay, so I want to recap one of my first speaker point. Firstly, he said that we need to protect when we abandon the non-interference policy, we can protect all ASEAN members both in financially and politically. Okay, as we know that there is a lot of benefit that if we cooperate with Myanmar, because they export oil to us and gas to ASEAN. So without solving this problem, it will impact all the members in ASEAN. So I will move to my next point. Okay, my first point is we should abandon the policy because we need to protect for the human right. As we know that there is serious human rights violation occur across Myanmar. So what the violence? It's like there is a conflict in military with the internal with the ethnic armed groups continue, and indiscriminate strikes and so on. So if we abandon this policy, we as ASEAN, as our stand that we, as I say in our stand, that together we stand, we can help them to avoid this problem. So this can give the human this can give fair this can give fair to the Myanmar's, because they are one of our ASEAN members. So because the effect is there is a lot of humanitarian groups in Myanmar is being restricted from their activities, so which limit their access because of this problem. Okay, so next to my second point is we as ASEAN should abandon the policy, because we want to protect the religious opposed. As we know that one of in Myanmar, majority people in Myanmar is in Myanmar country is Buddhist, and one of them is Christian, and minority is Muslim. So there is, as we know that there is problem in Myanmar that the Rohingya which is the one of the the religious Muslim will be abandoned in Myanmar. So if we as ASEAN, if we help them, we can give support to them, like the army support or something, and it can give right to the other religious, and so we from the government, we from the government stand that as ASEAN members, we should cooperate as the Quad, together we stand. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 35 seconds.
Now, I would like to call upon Deputy Leader of Opposition to deliver her speech.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am the Deputy Leader of the Opposition side. So today our topic is the House believes that Asians should abandon the non-interference policy and actively intervene in Myanmar. Okay, so we, the negative team, believe that this statement is false. So I would like to rebut some of the points of the first speaker of the government. So they actually talked about how we can actually protect financially and politically of the Myanmar, and how Myanmar actually exports oil and gas. So I think that why they only look at the bright side. What if while we are interviewing with the Myanmar, suddenly things are not going right, and suddenly we become our relationship with Myanmar is worsened. And what happens if our relationship is not good with Myanmar after we actually intervene with them? Since they actually talked about how Myanmar actually exports oil and gas to Malaysia and other Asian countries, worst case scenario can happen that Myanmar refuses to export their oil and gas to us. So that's a great loss for us if we look at the worst case scenario. we should think about that too. So they also talked about, the second speaker also talked about how we should protect human rights. I mean, right, we should protect human rights. But what happens if the people coming from Myanmar coming to Malaysia and suddenly they live in here and they cause problem? I don't mean they cause problems, but they cause a lot, because we don't know what kind of viruses or maybe health problems that they have there, and then we, Malaysia, should take responsibility of them, because I think Malaysia should not be doing that, because we already have our own problems to settle. So I don't think we should be doing that. All right, so our first speaker, from the opponent side, we've been talking about how we should how we can actually avoid conflicts from not intervening with Myanmar. And I think that is very true, because like I said earlier, what can we do if suddenly things are not going right, and we should be avoiding the conflicts as much as we can. So so I believe that having a lot of hands to solve an issue doesn't guarantee that that issue will be solved at the end of the day. So that is our stand. And so coming to my first point, which is we should, my first point is unavoidable consequences may happen and affects Malaysia. Like I said earlier, we should always look at the worst case scenario. So if something that happens while we are actually trying to help Myanmar, maybe the people suddenly things are not right, and it could affect Malaysia badly, because as we know, Myanmar actually exports rice to Malaysia, a big amount of rice to Malaysia. So if something that happens along the way, we would lose Myanmar as one of the exporters of rice, and also, like they said, oil and gas. So I think that if we does not interfere with Myanmar during the crisis, we won't be blamed actually because of the non-interference policy, because we are following the policy itself. So I don't think that we should be taking that responsibility. And also, what I mean by affects Malaysia is not only by the politics or by the oil and gas and rice. It can also actually affect the tourism of the Malaysia, because what happens is that Malaysia would look as a country that interferes with another country and then suddenly fails to do so, and people would look at Malaysia as look at them being busybody, and suddenly they didn't even settle the scenario itself. That would make Malaysia look like a loser, and other people would not actually come to Malaysia because of that. Okay, moving on to my next point is that why should we abandon the policy when the cost of the policy itself is still there? What I mean is that the cost of the policy is one of the new challenges arising from the globalization process. So I think that Myanmar also have their own problems to settle, and I believe that the members of the ASEAN, the first thing first that they did the non-interference policy is because they understand that domestic issues should be solved on their own without any outside intervention. So let me give a simple example. Like, we are in a house, a family is husband and wife, and then suddenly our neighbors, suddenly we are having fights in our house, and then suddenly our neighbor comes and I think you should stop. Your children is looking at you and what's on. That is not even logic. That is their own problems, their internal problems that they should settle on themselves, so that later on, if that problem happens again, they won't need our help to actually finish the problem, you know. So my last point is that we should put ourselves before other people, because as we know, Malaysia is also having crisis over the political issues, and and also the economy is not even stable yet. So I think that we should always put ourselves before we think of other people. So I think that is very logic, because that is how people should be doing. And so I believe that having a lot of hands to solve issue doesn't actually guarantee that issue can be solved at the end of the day. So I think that is the main issue here. So I think that is all from us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to the Deputy Leader of Opposition for the speech. The speaker spoke for 6 minutes and 59 seconds.
Now, I would like to call upon Government Whip to deliver her speech.
Yes, Mike. Subhanallah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning. I beg to the Madam Chairman, the educators, the timekeepers, the members of the floor, and ladies and gentlemen. So today's motion are about: His House believe that Asians should abandon the non-interference policy and actively intervene in Myanmar. So we as a government side truly agree with this motion. Aligned with our stand, we as Asian members should cooperate as the codes. Together we stand. So before I summarize the points that have been given by our side, so I'm going to rebut the points that have been given by the opposition side. By the opposition side, the first speaker has said that by amending the law and the other countries will intervene in the Myanmar crisis, it will make the country being in conflict. That, like he said, that the Myanmar would not export or import anything from Malaysia and else. And this is wrong, because while the crisis is going on, the total of import and export are reduced by the time, because everyone is facing the crisis. So who wants to work in that particular job, like mining the gas, mining all the and gas, like, and something like that. And next, in her rebuttal to my first speaker, she said that we shouldn't abandon the law as an Asian because there are activists that want to help the Myanmar. And so I'm questioning to you back, what can activists do? We as an Asian bloc, we have the law. We can we have the annual meetings too. So that is what the purpose of the Asian bloc itself. So why do you want to involve the activists? Activists didn't have the authorities to interfere in the political or something like that. Activists just can help the what we call that, the victim. So we don't want just only to help the victim. We as an Asian member wants to abandon the law, the non-interference policy, because we want to stop it right, not just helping the victim. And she only say about the Malaysia. And this motion are about the Asian member. And I know that the one who is saying that this kind of things are the foreign minister from the Malaysia, that I forgot the name. But the foreign ministers, the Malaysian foreign minister has get the, what we call it, supports from this idea have been supported by the Thailand, Singapore, and Indonesia. So we won't have the problems. And next, like the Rohingya, we only can help the Rohingya to come to Malaysia after they leave the Myanmar. So it doesn't solve the problems in Myanmar itself. So that is why we want to abandon the non-interference law. Okay, next, the second speaker said that the consequence after the interference. she said that people will think this is not right, but how do you know people will think this is not right? While the Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia already support this idea, they have to protect the Myanmar, because we as an Asia bloc are need with each other. He said that this interference will make things worse, but interference doesn't mean like we want to send the military or and so on. This interference can make us like joining their meeting or something like that, or giving idea to stop the conflict. And she said that it will affect the tourism in Malaysia. While the crisis in the Myanmar is unstable, and their politics are also not stable. So unstable politics will make investor didn't come to that country. And if Myanmar is affected by the investment, so it will affect the whole as Asian, because if you want to, if as a foreign investor, we will look at the policy, if the politics are bad, we won't invest in that thing, because we might think we will think that there will be more worst thing can be happen. Even the country beside Myanmar will be affected. And she said that they can solve problem by their self, because we shouldn't come to jump into others' problem. So if then you don't want any help from others, then just disband the Asian. Just stop all the diplomatic reaction from or diplomatic relationship, because you say you don't want the help from others. You can solve everything there for themselves. So if the Malaysian have problems in rice, so just do it yourself. So don't export or import it from anyone. And even if you are attacked by other country, then don't ask for anyone for help or to really militarize yourself. Is this you say this kind of thing that you want to solve it by yourself without anyone's help? Okay. I will summarize my point that has been given by our side. My first speaker has said that we want to protect Asian member both politically and financially, because we want to make sure Myanmar's importing and exporting in among Asian member are still going, because we as Malaysian is exporting and importing from Myanmar, and exporting Malaysian products to Myanmar can gain our GDP, and it can gain Myanmar's GDP too, and it will affect as the whole Asian bloc. And next, my second speaker has said that we want to stop. We want to protect for human rights. We want to stop more people from being oppressed. We don't want just to help people who are already a victim. And next, she said that we want to protect the religious opposite, because right now they are trying to do ethnic cleansing and religious cleansing. So that is why we as a government side want to abandon this law policy aligned with our stance. We as Asian members should cooperate as the courts together we stand. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you to the government whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 19 seconds.
Now, I would like to call upon opposition whip to deliver her speech.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, I beg to Mr. Speaker, Vice Timekeeper, adjudicators, and members of the floor. So for today's debate, The motion goes, this House believes that Asia should abandon the non-interference policy and actively intervene in Myanmar. And we, from the opposition side, truly disagree with this motion. First of all, what is the issue in this motion? Today, the issue is the Asian have the policy to not intervene in any kind of issue that have related to the Asian member itself. And there's a Myanmar who actively have a lot of cases, religious cases and etc. So now what we're going to debate is, should we abandon the policy or should we not? So we from the opposition side believe that we should not involve, because we believe that having all hands doesn't guarantee the problem will be solved at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So for today's debate, there's some point that I would like to rebut from the government side. First of all, they give us what kind of cases that the Myanmar already been through, like the religious opposed and how like 100,000 citizens that has been killed, ladies and gentlemen. So the question is, why now that the Asian member really care about and really want to intervene in Myanmar? Like why now? Like if they say that Asian members should be cooperate one another at the first place, then why after having lots of people being killed and lots of people lost their human rights, their own rights, why now they want to speak up and actually want to solve the problem? I think that most of them just want the fame and just want to interfere as they think that this is what the Asian members should do. But as you stated before, they have already support the idea, like Singapore, Indonesia, etc. But it's only supporting the idea. Have they actually proposed the idea through all the meetings already, or have they actually make some urgent meeting that they want to solve it as it is so important, as this is so urgent, ladies and gentlemen? No, I don't think that Asian is actually at the urgent and at the emergency level that they should abandon the non-interference policy at the first place, ladies and gentlemen. So they also stated that so first of all, they didn't state what kind of what are they going to do if they abandon the non-interference policy. And they also doesn't mean that they want to send the military helps and etc. Then what are you going to do? Do you think that by giving idea and supporting what kind of giving ideas and etc. will actually help the issue to be solved? I don't think so, because if that the case, abandon the non-interference policy should not be proposed at the first place, because this is not a small thing. This is a real big thing. Non-interference policy have a reason why it happened at the first place, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't think that the Asian actually really care and have the power or have enough or compatible in order to abandon the non-interference policy and accept any consequences that will be happen in any of the Asian members itself. So here our side always stated about Malaysia, etc. Because we are the one of kind of example of developing countries in Asian member. Like most of the Asian member is developing countries and below it. So even if the developing countries have the problem to solve, have the problem if we interfere, that we need to cause a lot of consequences at the end of the day. What do you think about other countries that need in the Asian member, if they also need to be interference in this case, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think that they are capable? I don't think so. So the next is, did Myanmar seek help at the first place? Are they actually need help in order to solve this crisis, solve this issue? No. So that means that they actually capable in order to solve their own crisis at their own place. Yes, we need to protect the human rights. But if something bad happen, like if we help them, if we interfere in Myanmar crisis, in Myanmar in Myanmar problems, if the like one of the worst case scenario that have lots of bad relationship with other countries that in Asian members and war happened, don't you think that other country human rights also being triggered? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely. So besides that, they also stated that one of the reasons why the Asian members should should intervene this problem because of the religious opposed. So are these actually one of the Asian focus? Did the is it the is this issue is one of the issue that the Asian need to focus on? I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. Supposedly, there are other things that Asians should do. Like, since that you say that even though Myanmar, even though Myanmar having this kind of problems, I'm sorry, others also being having a hard time because we all the nation of the Asian members is being connected. So, like, do you think that all Asian members is actually supporting the Muslims and etc.? So I don't think that having the religious opposed is one of the great points. Is other Asian country also not mainly Muslim country. So some of them might not want or don't have any interest in order to help the Myanmar or the Muslim in Myanmar at the first place. So before I end my speech, I would like to restate back that why we from the opposition side truly disagree with this motion, because we believe that having all hands doesn't guarantee the problems will be solved at the end of the day. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the opposition whip for the speech. The speaker spoke for 7 minutes and 21 seconds.
Okay, now both of government and opposition side are being given 1 minute to prepare their reply speech. Your time to prepare starts now.
Okay, the time's up. So now I would like to call upon the opposition side to deliver their reply speech.
Okay, so okay, first of all, the purpose of Asian is to accelerate economic growth. If Asian countries intervene in Myanmar, do you think that Myanmar want to export their products to these countries? Do you think the authority want to? The third speaker said that if we don't help them, then just don't form diplomatic relationship with other country. The issue is domestic, not international. It doesn't involve other countries. So it is domestic, like I said, it is a domestic issue, not an international issue. It is not between two countries or more. It is the issue between the citizens of the minority with the government itself. So why we should intervene? Like in a country, when the citizen does not want a political figure to be the president, do you think it is reasonable for other countries to intervene? It's like their own country, they want to choose their own leader, so we should not intervene in that. It is just like that. We other countries should intervene in other countries' internal issues because it does not involve other country actually. So like the third speaker talk, we won't be sending our military to Myanmar, only joining to Myanmar, but only joining the conferences. Action speaks then louder, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't it funny when we are just talking, but no actions has been done? It would make the Asian members look like cowards. The worst case scenario, if the Asian members intervene and suddenly they blame us for making it worse, do you think that we are able to endure the consequences? Since most of the Asian members is a developing countries, so I think that it is not really a good idea for us to intervene because, like we said, how can we endure the consequences of the worst case scenario? So I believe that having a lot of hands to solve an issue does not really guarantee that the issue will be solved at the end of the day. We should be understanding that, first of all, because it would only create bigger problems if we try to help and then suddenly we have different opinions and what's so on. It could create bigger problems in the Asian countries because suddenly we have different opinions, and it would create bigger problems, like I said, in the Asian countries itself, and it could affect the like I said, the tourism and also the economic of the whole Asian itself, because like the third speaker of the government said, if tourists wants to come to the Asian country, they would look at the economic of the whole Asian. So it does not solve the issue if we actually intervene and suddenly things go bad. It doesn't really help at all. So I think that is our point, and I think that is all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to the opposition side for their reply speech. Now to conclude, I would like to call the speaker from the government side to give their reply speech.
Okay, the government, first I would like to say that we absolutely stand with the whole to abandon the non-interference policies, and we should abandon and abolish these principles and intervene in Myanmar as the Asian country should do. And this Asian country was supposed to able to help this country, help them not to steer more than it has done. We are trying to help them the Myanmar country, because if you think that human rights, religious opposed, minority oppressed, refugees, refugees is everywhere, violence and killing happen in Myanmar is not big enough for the Asian country to intervene, that is your problem. And we actually are proud to be busybody with this country, with the other member state, which is the Asian country, to help the Myanmar and protect the human rights, and also help the minorities. We as Asian members should cooperate, and as the quote says, together we stand. And the economic, and in case in perspective of economic tourism and so on, actually it is not big issues. It is a very vital thing in a country, but Myanmar won't give that big threat actually, because we are talking not as a Malaysians, we are talking as Asians. We have a big we have a country that consists of, we have organizations that consist of many big countries. So we are trying to oppress these Myanmar's government to be concerned and to help to stop the violence and protect the human rights at Myanmar. And we, as the Asian country, also will supposed to help them. Okay. And also about the oil and gas and so on just now. I would like to see that we have many options actually. The import, we can have the import not just from Myanmar actually. When if anything happened, the relationships became worse also on. We have many options on developing the countries without Myanmar actually. We have the Asian country itself, and Malaysia actually have their own oil and gas, and actually we can even export our oil and gas to other countries, which means we have enough of this. So by interviewing the Myanmar to help these human rights, to protect and to stand with these human rights is absolutely right to do. It's our right thing to do. And I think I would like to end with the quotes of "Together we stand" as an Asian country, and failing to win today is fail to protect human rights. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that is all for this round's debate session. On behalf of the House, thank you to all adjudicators for their assistance, and congratulations to debaters from both teams for making it this far. And you may leave this room.
Wait. Can all the adjudicators open their camera, because I want to take picture together. The others? Adjudicators Aina and Husna. Aina Azli. All right. So, Isda Lily, okay. So I will take the picture. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay, that's all for me. Okay, the debaters, you may leave now. And the result will be, and the ceremony will be had at 11:30. The link will be given later. All right. Okay. Thank you.